Suspended Ekurhuleni Deputy Police Chief Julius Mkhwanazi will continue with his testimony at the Madlanga Commission in Pretoria this morning. His testimony will be followed by that of suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. Yesterday, questions were raised on why Mkhwanazi used the private security company Cat VIP at the state of the city address in 2022. Commissioner Mkhwanazi has testified that Cat VIP was appointed to assist the EMPD in dealing with a possible threat. Meanwhile, Mchunu, who began his testimony on Tuesday, is expected to also face cross-examination from evidence leaders on the disbandment of the Political Killings Task Team, that's the PKTT. It was disbanded on the 31st of December 2024. This is a move that various witnesses have testified was unlawful. The proceedings start at 8:30 this morning. Now, let's cross over to SABC News anchor Sakina Kamwendo and SABC News reporter Canny Maphanga for an update live from the Brigitte Mabandla Justice College in Tshwane, Gauteng. Sakina, a very good morning to you. And yesterday, certainly, as much as we may be looking forward to 8:30 this morning, yesterday also wasn't without all of its surprises and bells and whistles. Good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Leanne, indeed, and welcome to a rather grey, gloomy and dreary capital city. But of course, the Commission's business continues. And a late evening yesterday and commencing an hour earlier today, that is because the evidence of the suspended Deputy Chief of the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department, Julius Mkhwanazi, was, I must say, at times rather exasperating for the commissioners, and that's at least how it came across. But let me bring Canny in. Canny, I must say, for Justice Madlanga, that was the most exasperated I'd seen him throughout these proceedings.
Indeed. Well, you spent the entire day yesterday only really covering two topics, which is the memorandums of understanding as well as the operational plan for the State of the City address in the context of Ekurhuleni, which we understand that the Cat VIP protection services participated in to quite a great extent. However, throughout those hours, you just saw the witness, that is Julius Mkhwanazi, speaking in circles throughout the entire day, having difficulty with making concessions, probably because it would implicate you adversely if you would do so, but continuously talking around in circles, not getting to the point, and simply evading the question, if we have to put it quite frankly. So it was quite an exhausting process for the Commission's bench, as well as the evidence leader, as they tried to get very direct answers with very direct questions. However, they would see Mkhwanazi just going around in circles over very simple subjects that you really should have quite a knowledge about. For example, a simple question as to why he didn't refer to the Memorandum of Understanding with Cat VIP, but he referred to that of the Medicare 24. And he says it was just an oversight. And how can it be an oversight when that is one of the central allegations you're facing, is that you had this purported agreement with Cat VIP Protection Services, a company owned by an alleged cartel member. The agreement itself is unlawful, and you enter into it with this particular company or private entity, and you don't have the authority to do so, but you say it's an oversight when it's not referenced in your statement.
And also one got the sense that he was trying to preempt where he thought the commissioners were headed with their questions, and that also led to further frustration.
And it's seemingly the kind of conduct we heard about when you speak about the Blue Light saga, that he had this endless quote-unquote working relationship with this particular private entity, and seemingly what he had done at the time, allegedly, was when it became public that this particular private entity was registered under the city's fleet, its vehicles, what he tried to do is allegedly formalize the relationship to avoid whatever backlash would come from an agreement that he clearly understood to be unlawful if he went to such great lengths.
And he was interrogated about it, the signatures on that document.
Absolutely, and he tries to attribute it to, oh no, the final signature could only come from there, but you still approved a private entity by signing. It means you were okay with a private entity being registered under the fleet and subsequently getting blue lights, because the MOU is quite clear. He's tried to paint presented as a situation where these two private entities were making a charitable act and it was at no cost to the city, and they just wanted to assist with emergency services and, of course, the fleet as they were running out of fleet. But why is the MOU so specific between those two private entities that they must have blue lights? What is that true purpose for? Because the fleet never actually receives those cars, and the MOUs are not lawful, so it actually cannot be carried through. So in that month period where he says there was an intention, but clearly those cars were fitted with blue lights because Mama Cat was on the roads being ferried with blue lights. So for that short period in which they were ferried with blue lights, what exactly was the quote-unquote alleged benefit from having this kind of status that would mean that you remain untouchable while you are moving on roads because you enjoy the status of being a law enforcement agency? That is the core of the question that he hasn't truly answered. And I think the talking around in circles is to avoid that level of accountability, because outright you will implicate yourself in wrongdoing and alleged corruption.
Yeah, and then there was a sense also, Leanne, where it seemed that that there was a great excitement on the part of Mkhwanazi at going to the offices of Medicare, looking at, Kat Matlala's picture among those of the other directors on the walls, the beautiful offices that they had, and of course just bringing these people in to EMPD. And again, Advocate Silo went to great lengths to try and understand of what benefit this would be to the city of Ekurhuleni. But of course, as we said, exasperating is how it turned out to be. But of course, we'll come back and we'll unpack a little bit more about this. Leanne?
All right. Thanks so much, Canny and Sakina, and we'll cross back to them shortly.